Hey everyone, welcome to the Breakthrough Entrepreneurs, where we empower both new and experienced entrepreneurs, high performers, business owners to overcome the challenge of work life balance, burnout, break bad, old, unhealthy, negative habits, behaviors, build new habits, create new rituals, new routines. I'm your host, Muhammad Faraj, and today our topic is the truth behind building your dream life. The road to success can be very hard. It can contain so many challenges, so many obstacles, hinders, problems that will try to get on your way as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a high performer. Those challenges, those obstacles, they will try to prevent you, they will try to stop you, but you were born to do something great in your life. You were meant to break through in your entrepreneurial life. You are the one in your family. You are the person that decided, that made that decision that I am going to be an entrepreneur. I am going to break through in my entrepreneurial life. So that's what I that's why I created this episode for you to give you a reality about entrepreneurship, because we all know that entrepreneurship can be sometimes very hard. There are so many problems that you would need to solve. There are so many challenges that will show up that will try to prevent you from working, from staying aligned with your goals, with your dreams, with your ambitions. There are obstacles that will try to stop you, that will try to make you believe that entrepreneurship is not for you. But you, my friend, you need to be resilient. Perseverance is your friend. Habits, your routines, your new version will be unbreakable. Nothing can stop you. Because in this episode, in this podcast, we empower entrepreneurs to be unstoppable, to be unbreakable, to break through in their entrepreneurial life. That's why I created this podcast, to empower entrepreneurs to improve their life, improve their entrepreneurial life, to help them build new habits, break bad old negative habits, negative thoughts, old patterns, old feelings, old emotions that always try seems like trying to hold you down, hold you back, or stop you, or make you stuck in life, feel stagnant in life. You try to grow, you can't. You try to make progress, you can't, because they are holding you down. They don't let you to create a new version of yourself. So in this episode, I am going to talk about the reality of entrepreneurship. But entrepreneurship can be much better journey. It can be very enjoyable and very fun experience. So first, I would like to tell you that entrepreneurship sometimes can feel very hard, very lonely. You feel exhausted, you feel tired, you feel drained, depleted with energy. Sometimes you would feel like things are not working, no matter how much you work, how much effort you put. You try to make progress, you try to get momentum, you try to grow, to scale, to expand in your field, in your business, but still sometimes things will not work as you expected. You would wish for results, you would wish or dream about seeing results. Sometimes the results won't show up. But to be honest with you, this is a part of the process, and this is a signal that you are in the process toward your goals, your dreams, my friend. So even though sometimes it doesn't work, even though you put so much time, so much energy, so much effort, and they don't match your result or the result that you see. But even though you see things are not working. You feel like, oh, this is not good for me, or is this a good use of my time? Am I wasting my time? Am I on the right direction? So you start to doubt yourself. You get those self doubts, those negative thoughts that will try to convince you that entrepreneurship is not right for you, or you're not meant to be an entrepreneur, or entrepreneur is only for talented people, only for lucky people, only for people who came from entrepreneurial families. But my friend, you need to reshape your thoughts. You need to break your old patterns, those patterns that are running in your life. Because if you believe on your thoughts, if you let those patterns run in autopilot in your life, they will always hold you back. They will sit on your back, and they will try always to prevent you from growing, from creating, building a new version of yourself, from transforming your life. So do not let those thoughts, do not let those emotions, those feelings, those thoughts let you give up, or do not let them to convince you that entrepreneurship is not for you. Entrepreneurship is indeed for you. Entrepreneurship is a wonderful experience, is a wonderful process, and it can make you feel happy, healthier, positive, accomplished, and make your dreams come true. If you want to reach your dreams, you reach your dreams by being an entrepreneur. Despite the fact you can make so many mistakes, you can fail, you can face so many failures. Maybe your company will fail, maybe you will not get those clients, or maybe you will get rejections, or maybe things will not work out as you expected, despite the fact you put so much effort, so much time, and even though it won't work. Ask me. I'm as a programmer, during my programming journey, during my software development journey, I faced so many problems, so many bugs. I swear to God, sometimes my legs were hurting, my back was hurting. Sometimes I was getting stuck in bugs, like problems in my code, in my softwares, in my projects. It they were draining so much time, so much energy from my body. I was constantly feeling tired, exhausted, fatigued. But trust me, I did not give up. I did not say, oh, this is not the right thing for me, or this is not the right skill for me, or I should stop, or I should give up, or maybe coding or programming is not something for me. Sometimes I was asking myself, is this really for me? Should I continue? I faced so many problems. It took days, weeks, sometimes even a month to just complete one project. I faced so many obstacles, so many problems, so many issues. Sometimes people didn't help me out. Sometimes I couldn't find any solution for my problems. But I didn't stop. I said, I made the decision. I am going to become a software developer. I am going to be a programmer, because it was a dream in my heart. It was those thoughts, that drive, that were always keeping me aligned with my goal, with my dream of becoming a software developer or a programmer, beside being an entrepreneur currently. So I faced so many problems. I faced those thoughts. I faced those feelings, those emotions, but I didn't believe on them. I didn't let those patterns ruin my life. I didn't let those thoughts, those patterns stop me from what I'm trying to accomplish. So the same principle applies in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship can feel very lonely, where sometimes you will work very lonely and you feel like you're isolated. But this is how it's supposed to be, my friend. Entrepreneurship is supposed to be lonely, exhausting, tiring journey. So you feel tired, you feel exhausted sometimes, you feel even burned out. But Those are signs, those are signals that you are on your way toward your dreams, toward your goals. Those are signals that you are on the right process. And every entrepreneur goes through these obstacles, these experiences. It's not only you. So many entrepreneurs, they build business, they fail. They build again their businesses, they fail. They build a company, they create their own companies, they fail. But then they get back on track. They don't say, oh, this is not for me, I'm going back to work for people. No, you are not going back to work for people like slave. You don't want to be a slave. See, some people, I know some weak people, people who are not dreamers, people who doesn't have this drive inside them. They don't have their vision when they wake up in the morning. They don't have those dreams inside their heart. They don't have so much love in their heart for their families, for their future, for their people, for their community, for their audience, for their future. They don't have that. So what happens with them? They stop, they give up as soon as they face a failure or a problem in their entrepreneurship, and then they go back to work for people like slaves. So they go to work for people from 9 to 5. They do whatever it takes. They do everything for those people, for those companies. They commit to their time, they commit to their work, they commit to their rest time, they commit to taking lunch for 30 minutes, but they don't do that for themselves. They don't want to break their old bad habits. They don't want to remove those old negative bad thoughts that always kept them small, that always kept them from achieving their goals. They don't. They don't want to leave their comfort zone. They would rather go to work in that cold weather or in that hot weather, do whatever their bosses says to them in that company, in that business, in that workplace, but they wouldn't do that for themselves. They wouldn't work for their dreams. They wouldn't break their old bad habits, their behaviors, their routines. They would rather keep those habits, keep those routines, keep those behaviors, but just for that amount of money, just to go back to work for people. They wouldn't work from their heart. They wouldn't accept the reality of entrepreneurship. They wouldn't transform themselves into a new version for their families, for the loved ones. But they would do it for their bosses, for people who work for them like slaves. They would rather work like slaves but not work for themselves. So you don't want to be that person, my friend. You, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a high performer, you made the decision that I am going to be in this role, in this position for the long haul and burn the ships. There is no go back. There is no going back to work for people. There is no going back to work from 9 to 5. There is no going back to your old job. You are in this mission because you have a reason, you have a big why, you have a dream. Your why is your campus. You follow your campus to get to end up in where you want to be, where you dream to be. So entrepreneurship can feel very hard. It can feel tough. Some days you will feel motivated. You have that drive. You're excited. You feel happy. You're making progress. Things are going well for you. But sometimes, some days, you will hit the plateau. You will feel burnout. You will feel tired, exhausted. You will feel like nothing is working. But my friend, when motivation, momentum, and those temporary feelings disappear, your reason, your why will always remain in your heart. So when all those disappear, your why never disappears because you have a dream, you have a vision for your future. You have a big why you are staying in this position, why you want to be an entrepreneur or a breakthrough entrepreneur, as an unstoppable entrepreneur. So sometimes your old bad habits, your old routines, your old thoughts, your old feelings, your old emotions are running in your life, and they don't let you to grow, to make progress. Sometimes those habits, those old habits, they make you feel you're stuck or stagnant, but do not believe on that. You need to leave your comfort zone. You need to break those old bad habits, because trust me, many people, they would rather stay in their comfort zone. For example, when they wake up in the morning, if they feel like their bed feel so comfortable and it's sunshine day, it's quiet, they would sleep. They would not leave their bed. They would not leave their bed and go to work for their future, for their families, for their goals, for their dreams, but they would rather continue sleeping. Why? Why? Because they don't have a big why. If they had a big why, they wouldn't continue sleep. They would leave their comfort zone, they would do the work. So another example is that some people, they would rather keep their old bad habits, their routines, where they are constantly watching Netflix or TV, or spending or wasting time in bars or restaurants, or going on long vacations for weeks. They're always escaping from work. They are always escaping from their workplace, from tasks, from project. They would complain that entrepreneurship is hard, it's tough, there's so much work, it takes so much time, energy, effort. They would do that. They would go spend so many days with, I don't know, friends, with people that they don't care about their goals, they don't care about their dreams, nor they care about their families. So they would go spend so much time with those people instead of spending time with for their future, for their families, on those projects, on those tasks that move their goals, their dreams closer to them. They won't, because they don't want to leave their comfort zone. They would rather stay in their comfort zone. But trust me, comfort zone is the enemy of progress. Comfort zone is the enemy of your goals, of your dreams. So do not let comfort zone, do not let easy things, easy life ruin your life, or take your dreams, or steal your goals, your dreams, your ambitions from your heart. Because as an entrepreneur, you have made the decision that I am going to stay in this mission. I have calling, I have a purpose. I am going to work. I am going to work very hard, even if I don't see results, even if things are not working, even in those days where I don't feel motivated or have that drive. I would stay building new habits, improving my habits, building new routines, new rituals, come up with new ideas. So that's why so many entrepreneurs, they won't leave their comfort zone. They would stay with their old version and not create or build a new version of themselves. And another aspect of entrepreneurship is sometimes it requires skills, my friend. Sometimes it's not the problem with habits, or it's not the problem with comfort zone. Sometimes it requires skills. You need to adopt a learning mindset if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, if you want to break through in your entrepreneurial life. You need to build new skills. Those successful entrepreneurs, they are constantly learning, reading, and gaining knowledge. They are asking other entrepreneurs, getting guidance, getting coaching or mentoring from other mentors, coaches. So they are constantly learning, growing, and they try to find out how to solve a big problem so they can achieve success in their entrepreneurial life. So you need to learn new skills. For example, if you're an entrepreneur or public speaker, so you need to always build the skill of public speaking so you can get on stages and just share your experience, your insights, your strategy, your service, offer your service on those stages. So this is a simple example. So you need to build new skills that will make your entrepreneurial life easier for you, that will help you solve problems, that will help you contribute to your success by growing, by expanding your business, expanding your field, by scaling, by collaborating with other entrepreneurs, with other business owners, getting into other businesses, expanding to other projects, other industries. So one of the parts of being an entrepreneur is that you need to build new skills, because your skills are your allies. They are backing you up in your entrepreneurial journey. They are helping you growing, learning, expanding. As much as you learn, as much as you gain more skills, as much as you are bringing so much success into your entrepreneurial life. So even though if you're working very hard, and even though you're staying for so many hours, because people at jobs, they work from 9 to 5 and they go spend their time free. They don't do anything for their future, for their families, for their goals, for their dreams. They would spend the rest of hours just maybe sleeping, or maybe watching TV or Netflix, or scrolling on social media on mobile. But you as entrepreneur, you have more hours to work. You need to work, you need to complete projects, tasks, and then do not forget to enjoy the experience, to enjoy accomplishing, to enjoy making progress, getting the momentum, making your family proud, making your friends proud of you. So you have more hours to work than average normal people who work in normal jobs. So when you are putting more hours to work, you are getting closer to your goals, to your dreams, much faster than others. You will accomplish your goal in 1 year, whereas it takes for other people who are wasting so much time, so much energy, who are not focusing, who are not in the momentum, who are not building new habits, improving their habits, improving their life. It would take them forever. It would take them years to grow, to achieve their business goals, to grow their businesses, to make progress. It would take them years. But for you, you go much faster. Your pace is much faster than other entrepreneurs or other business owners, because you're constantly learning, building new habits, breaking your old bad habits, leaving your comfort zone, creating new routines, new skills, getting more ideas, tracking your habits. That's why I created this podcast, because you get to learn so many stuff about entrepreneurial life, about health, about habits, where you are building new habits, where you are tracking your habits, where you are creating new system, building new systems in your work days, in your personal life, where you are tracking your habits, where you are scaling. So entrepreneurship sometimes is not so easy, but I promise you, if you stay in this mission, if you do not give up, if you stay resilient and be perseverance in your mission, in your journey, in your entrepreneurial life, I promise you, someday you will feel so proud of you when you reach those goals, when you reach those dreams. Because the work that you do today, the time that you spend today, the effort, the energy that you are investing today is for your future. And do not think that you are far away from your goals, from your dreams. In fact, you are much closer to your goals, to your dreams than you think. So many entrepreneurs, so many people, high performers or business owners, they have depth problems. They think they are very far away from their dreams. That's why they hold on those old habits. That's why they hold on those old routines, old behaviors. That's why they keep repeating the same thoughts, the same feelings, emotions, because they're constantly thinking, oh, I am very far away from my goals, from my dreams. So that's why I'm not going to change, or I can't transform. They complain. But to be honest with you, in the reality, you are much closer to your goals, to your dreams than you think. With the right strategies, with the right insights, with the right habits, routines, with the right thoughts, you are getting closer to your goals, to your dreams every day, every week, every month, and suddenly you will accomplish your goals. That's why I teach in this podcast to set daily goals, to set weekly milestones, monthly goals, setting deadlines. So we want you in a year, we want you to grow so much faster than you think. In 1 year, we want you to expand. We want you to build and transform a new version of yourself. So, in 1 year, we want you to reach your goals, to reach your dreams in 1 year. It doesn't have to take many years, but it needs only work. It's hard work. You need to put effort. You need to invest your time, your energy in breaking your old bad habits, in improving your productivity, your focus, your performance, in organizing your time management, in managing your time, in managing your energy. That's why I created this podcast, because I share so many insights, strategies, tips, examples. I teach all these in this podcast, because I want you to reach your goals, to reach your dreams, to make your family, the loved ones, your friends happy, proud of you, to reach your goals, to make your dreams come true, to transform your life, to change. So that's what I got for you. I hope you enjoyed listening or watching to this content, and I can't wait to publish a new episode. Please do not forget to leave a review, subscribe on my social media accounts, on my YouTube channel, and follow me on iTunes and Spotify, so you can get highlights, so you can get new content, new episodes every week to help you break through in your entrepreneurial life. And also, I have put a free guide for you, where you can download that below in the description area. I have put a free guide for you to help you build new habits, create new rituals, new routines, and break your old bad habits, track your behaviors, so that way you are getting better every day. You are making progress. You are transforming your life from your old version into a new version. So please do not forget to download your free guide, so you can break through in your entrepreneurial life. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and I can't wait to publish a new episode. Bye, everyone. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad, Mr. Muhammad.